Snowflakes drifted through the December air like tiny diamonds tumbling from heaven, shimmering under the warm glow of the Christmas lights strung across the town square. Inside the cozy little cafe with its fogged windows and soft carols playing in the background, Emma tried to steady her breathing as she sat alone at a corner table, her fingers anxiously twisting the end of her red scarf. She had been excited about this blind date, excited in a way she hadn't allowed herself to be for years. She'd carefully curled her chestnut hair, dabbed a little extra blush on her cheeks, worn her nicest boots. Who knew? Maybe Christmas would bring her a little miracle of her own. But 10 minutes after the man showed up, she realized she had hoped for too much. Grant, sharply dressed and handsome in a cold, distant way, didn't even pretend to be interested. His eyes kept wandering toward the door, scanning every woman who walked in, as if searching for someone better. He had barely smiled. He had checked his watch every 3 minutes. He had responded to her attempts at conversation with bland, disinterested nods. Then, mid-sentence, mid-her sentence, he stood from the table, smoothed his coat, and said, "I'm sorry, you're just not what I expected," before walking straight out into the snow. Emma sat there frozen, the sting of humiliation spreading across her chest like frost. She wasn't what he expected. The words echoed inside her, slicing deeper each time. She blinked rapidly as her eyes filled with tears she didn't want to shed here, not in front of strangers, not on Christmas Eve, not after she had finally gathered the courage to try again. She swallowed hard, wiped a tear before it could fall, and forced herself to gather her things, hoping to slip out unnoticed. She didn't want pity, she didn't want comfort, she just wanted to disappear. But as she stood, the cafe door swung open with a burst of cold air, and in rushed 2 little girls bundled up in matching silver coats and sparkly snow boots. They looked no older than 6, maybe 7, identical in every way, the same wild brown pigtails, the same bright hazel eyes, the same sprinkle of freckles across their cheeks. They were breathing hard, cheeks flushed pink from the cold, and they scanned the cafe with intense focus. Then their eyes landed on Emma. They froze for half a second, shared a silent look with each other, then marched toward her with a level of determination that could only belong to children on a mission. Emma blinked as they approached her table, each stopping right in front of her, staring up at her with wide, serious eyes. "Are you the lady from the picture?" the girl on the left asked. Emma stared, completely thrown off. "The picture." The girl on the right quickly tugged a folded piece of paper from her mitten and thrust it into Emma's hands. It was a printout of a woman's dating profile, a woman with long perfect curls, flawless makeup, and a perfect white smile. Definitely not her. "Daddy was supposed to meet this lady here," the girl explained with a quick nod. "But she didn't show up. So we decided to find someone better." "Much better," the other girl added. Before Emma could respond, before she could even process what was happening, the cafe door opened again. This time, a tall man rushed in, his coat dusted with snow, his hair slightly disheveled, his expression frantic and relieved all at once. "Ava, Lily, you can't run off like." He stopped the moment his eyes met Emma's. Something softened in his expression, a flicker of surprise, confusion, maybe even interest, but he didn't get a chance to speak. Because the twins turned back to Emma, clasped their hands together dramatically, and with the seriousness of a royal proposal, they asked, "Will you be our mom?" The cafe went silent. Emma's mouth fell open. The man's jaw dropped. And then, out of nowhere, a shocked laugh burst from her chest, warm, startled, and unbelievable. For the first time that night, the cold inside her cracked. Part 2. Daniel, the twins' father, looked mortified as he hurried over. "Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Girls, you can't just ask strangers." "She's not a stranger," Ava insisted. "She's nice. And she looks like a mom," Lily added firmly, as if this proved everything. Daniel sighed, running a hand through his snow-dusted hair, but Emma could see affection behind the exasperation. "I'm Daniel," he said, cheeks still red from embarrassment. "I'm really sorry about them. They're enthusiastic. Professional matchmakers," Lily corrected. "Yes," Daniel muttered, "that." Emma couldn't help laughing again. Something about the whole situation, the ridiculousness, the innocence, the timing, felt like a lifeline thrown to her sinking heart. "It's okay," she said gently. "Really, no harm done." The twins beamed with pride as if they had orchestrated the world's greatest achievement. Daniel hesitated for a moment, then nodded toward the empty chair where Grant had sat earlier. "If you'd like, if you're not uncomfortable, we could sit. Just for a minute, then I'll wrangle them home." A part of Emma wanted to go home, crawl under her blankets, and forget tonight ever happened. But another part, bigger, braver, whispered that maybe this moment wasn't an accident. Maybe the universe, for once, wasn't laughing at her but gently nudging her toward something she didn't even know to hope for. "Sit," she said quietly, surprising herself. "Please." Daniel smiled. Not a practiced smile, not a polite one, but a warm, relieved one that reached his eyes. They sat, and something shifted. Conversation with Daniel wasn't like the strained small talk she had earlier. He was genuine, real. He told her about his wife, how he lost her 3 Christmases ago, how the girls still asked about her sometimes, how he was learning to be both mom and dad. He spoke with honesty, not pity, not drama, just truth. Emma found herself opening up too, sharing how she always felt invisible in love, how she kept choosing men who didn't choose her back, how she sometimes wondered if something was wrong with her. Daniel listened, really listened. The twins peppered her with questions between sips of hot chocolate. "Do you like Christmas cookies? Can you braid braids? Do you know how to make snow angels?" And Emma answered each one with a smile. Hours passed like minutes. Outside, snow blanketed the world in soft white. Inside, warmth spread through Emma's chest like a flicker of light she hadn't felt in years. When the cafe finally announced closing time, they stepped into the snowy night together. The twins immediately grabbed Emma's hands, swinging them joyfully as they walked. Daniel walked beside her, close enough that their arms brushed every so often, sending tiny sparks through her. At the end of the block, the girls stopped abruptly, turning to her with serious faces. "Miss Emma," Ava said, "you didn't answer our question." Emma blinked. "What question?" Lily stepped closer, her mitten tapping Emma's knee. "Will you be our mom?" Daniel groaned softly. "Girls, no, she's not. This isn't," but Emma knelt down, cupping each girl's cheek gently. "Sweethearts," she said softly, "becoming someone's mom is a big, big promise. You don't make it in one night." Their faces fell. She smiled and continued softly, "But, I can promise I want to see you again." The twins lit up like 2 tiny Christmas trees, squealing and hugging her so tightly she laughed into their hats. Daniel exhaled, relief washing through him like a quiet wave. "I'd like to see you again too," he said, voice warm. Emma felt her heart flutter. "I'd like that." Snowflakes drifted around them as they reached her apartment building. Daniel paused, shifting slightly, unsure. "Emma." She looked up. "Yes. Merry Christmas." She smiled, warmth blooming deep in her chest. "Merry Christmas, Daniel." The twins yelled, "Bye mom, not mom but maybe mom," as they skipped away, leaving her laughing in the snow. She watched them go, Daniel turning back twice to smile at her, and for the first time in years, she didn't feel rejected, forgotten, or not enough. She felt seen, chosen, wanted, maybe even destined for something new. She walked upstairs, heart full, knowing one thing with absolute certainty: sometimes Christmas miracles didn't come as gifts under a tree. Sometimes they came in pairs. 2 little girls in matching silver coats who looked up at her with bright eyes and asked a question that changed everything.